Hi, I'm Valerie from Maine. If someone made a movie about my life, I'd be the main villain in it. My home was located on an old pier that most people avoided. My family was a real gang. Dad was our leader. He wanted everyone to call him Vagabond. I always knew that my parents weren't my family by blood. They found me near a forest when I was a baby. This is Mrs. Bennett. She used to be a teacher. I didn't go to school and learned everything from her. Where are my striped socks? You brats! I'll give you a detention! Nothing's better than being free. We're on our own and don't depend on anyone. As a kid, I didn't understand what our gang was doing. When I was 8, a boy called Ethan joined us. He was a couple years older than me, but acted like he was all grown up. Ugh, your mole is so ugly. And you look like a Neanderthal. Stop it, Ethan. You're coming with us today. I want to come too. You're too young. One day, I snuck out of the house and followed them. Could you help me? I'm lost. Oh, you poor thing. While that Neanderthal was distracting the woman, Vagabond quietly took her purse out of her car. Isn't it a bad thing to do? The woman heard me and turned around. My parents grabbed me and dragged me away. Police! We managed to get away, but my parents were furious with me. That day, I finally found out what our gang did. So, we're thieves? We only steal from the rich. We're sort of like Robin Hood in that way. Eventually, they let me join them for easy jobs, and stealing no longer seemed like such a bad thing to me. You'll always be a useless squirt anyway. Grrr. As I got older, I started to distribute our loot to those in need and buy food for the homeless. I told myself that I was acting noble, but really, I was just trying to ease my conscience. I loved the adrenaline rush, and I loved sports. No one could outrun me, but everyone in our gang still valued Ethan more than me. I'll crack their defenses in no time. What would we do without you? That worm was always the brain of the operation. Of course he was. After all, my parents gave him a new computer and even anonymously enrolled him in IT courses. Meanwhile, I was still using ancient junk. One day, Vagabond gathered the whole gang and told us unpleasant news. The cops are on our trail. We need to lie low for a while and not attract any attention. He took me, Mom, and Ethan with him. We moved to an old house on the outskirts of a nearby town. Everyone thought we were an ordinary family. We'll stay here for some time. The next morning, Ethan suddenly caught up with me while I was jogging. Warming up, Squirt? Don't call me that! Whatever you say, Squirt. You're dragging the gang down. You think you're all that? I bet you won't be able to outrun me. Surprisingly, he accepted the challenge. We raced each other. I admit it wasn't easy, but I beat him. Who drags the gang down now? That lifted my spirits, and I went out for a walk in town. I was wandering around a large mall when I saw a beautiful dress in a shop window. It's not my style, but I really want to try it on. It fit me perfectly, but I didn't have enough money to buy it. So I cut off the price tag and shoved the dress into my backpack. However, when I tried to leave the store, the alarm went off. Security! Stop the thief! I ran to the exit and accidentally knocked over some girl. Hey! Of course, the security guards were no match for me, and I managed to get away. But when I got home, Ethan saw my new dress. Did you steal it? We're supposed to be keeping a low profile. I wanted to snap back at him, but didn't get the chance. My parents scolded me and then let me in on a new plan. We will go to a rich neighborhood and take a look at several houses tomorrow. We need to think everything through carefully and hit a big jackpot. The next day, I was given a task to watch one of the houses. At some point, a woman walked out of it, got into an expensive car, and drove away. The woman was Mrs. Ryan. I wanted to make up for my mistake the day before and prove myself. So I walked around the house and climbed over the fence on the other side. I was looking around and assessing the location of the windows when I heard a splash nearby. I crept forward and saw a pool. It's the girl from the mall. I was about to sneak away when I noticed something strange. Her mole looks just like mine. I jerked in surprise and bumped into garden tools. The girl went to investigate the noise, but I managed to escape. After climbing over the fence, I bumped into Ethan. Of course, that worm ratted me out to my parents again. I told you, you only need to watch. For the first time, I didn't care about their annoyance. I couldn't stop thinking about what I had seen and decided to tell my family about it. The girl in that house has a mole that looks just like mine, and we look alike. Could it be a coincidence? We found you in this city. You were left by a forest, but you were wearing good clothes. There's a chance those rich people might be your relatives. You are my family, not some rich bastards. It's okay to want to know more about your past. If you ever want to get to know them, we won't stand in your way. No way! Use your brain, Squirt. Even if you're not related, this is your chance to explore the house. You might be useful to the gang. His words made sense. After hesitating for a bit, I decided to get to know that family. The next day, I came back to that house. I saw a courier drive up to the gate. When the door opened, I quickly took the package from him. I'll take it inside. Judging by the logo, there was an expensive suit from a well-known brand inside. When I walked into the house, I saw a woman I recognized. Leave the package, the tips on the drawer. These rich people always look down on ordinary people. I cleared my throat to draw her attention. When she turned around, she literally froze. She looked at me in shock, and her gaze lingered on my birthmark. "You're not a courier, are you?" I told her the lies I had made up in advance. "I moved here recently and wandered into your neighborhood by accident. Then I saw a girl on the street with the same birthmark as mine. I was adopted when I was a kid, so could we be related? My name is Mrs. Ryan. Would you care for a cup of tea?" Her hands were shaking as she made it. "Tell me about yourself. Who are your parents?" "They're successful people. I do sports and study hard, but those are my adoptive parents. My biological family abandoned me by a forest like I was a kitten." Mrs. Ryan suddenly burst into tears. "Years ago, I went for a walk with my husband and the younger of our 2 daughters. My husband was hit by a careless driver while crossing the road. I was terrified and ran to him. I left the stroller with my daughter for only a minute. By the time I turned around, she was gone." "And you haven't found her since?" "We looked, but it was all for nothing. I think that you might really be my missing girl." I had been found by a forest, not in the city, but I still agreed to see her again. When I got home, I heard my parents talking. "The cops are getting closer." "But you're paying the sheriff." "That's not enough anymore. We need a lot of money to get out of this mess." When I went to see Mrs. Ryan the next day, I heard her yelling at someone over the phone. "I can't wait any longer. You need to work faster." Spoiled rich people. They think everyone owes them. "I'm so glad you came." While we were talking, her phone rang again, and she stepped away into another room. "She's got a safe in here. Wow, look at all that cash." I slipped back into the living room before Mrs. Ryan returned. "I've been thinking, should we do a DNA test?" At first, I wanted to refuse, but then I got an idea. "Sure." That evening, I told my parents about my plan. I was worried they wouldn't approve of it, but they supported me.
"You don't need to find out the code. Just get Ethan to the safe. He'll crack it in no time."
That worm was smiling so smugly that I wanted to hit him with something heavy. One day, I was with Mrs. Ryan when her eldest daughter suddenly came home. I was afraid she would recognize me, but she didn't. "Who are you?" "Brianna, this is Valerie." When Mrs. Ryan told her about me, she didn't believe it. "You may have fooled my mom, but you can't fool me. And why does your face look so familiar?" Brianna spent the next few days trying to expose me. Once, she even spilled water on me and rubbed my mole, trying to wash it off. "Are you nuts? It's just makeup. I know it." "Stop this. I got the results of the DNA test. Valerie, you really are my daughter." I don't know who out of the 3 of us was the most shocked. I hadn't thought it would actually be true. When Mrs. Ryan hugged me, I felt awkward. When I told my parents about it, they looked miserable. "You'll probably want to live with your rich family now." "That will never happen. You are my family." Soon, I managed to stay in Mrs. Ryan's house while she and Brianna were not at home. "I need to leave for a while, but you can stay here." As soon as she left, I called Ethan. He tried to crack the safe open, but nothing worked. "Can't back up all your bragging? They're using some new technology." The next moment, Brianna suddenly returned home. "What's going on here?" Ethan reacted faster than I did.
"Hi, I'm Valerie's boyfriend. I was worried because she was gone for a long time and decided to drop by."
Mrs. Ryan arrived soon after and asked us to stay for dinner. As we ate, I learned something unexpected. Preparing for the charity event was absolutely exhausting. It turned out that all those phone calls, heated conversations, and that new expensive suit were all because of that event. Mrs. Ryan founded a charity that helped orphanages. At first, I tried to convince myself that it was just the hypocrisy of the rich, but the more time we spent together, the clearer it was that I was mistaken. Mrs. Ryan was genuinely a nice person. Meanwhile, the gang was really going through it. "We need money now.
If I don't pay the right people, I'll be arrested and sent to jail. That night, I kept tossing and turning and couldn't fall asleep. For the first time, I thought about the fact that what we did was wrong. I've always justified stealing by saying that we only take money from the rich, but Mrs. Ryan helps those in need and does not commit any crimes. One day, Brianna suggested we go for a walk in the park. You can bring your boyfriend. I was about to refuse, but Ethan overheard our conversation and followed me. To my surprise, we had a really great time. You know, I'm rarely wrong, but I guess I was wrong about you. Brianna left, and Ethan and I were left alone. Admittedly, he wasn't all that terrible when he wasn't calling me a squirt. Soon after, Mrs. Ryan invited me to that charity event. It completely changed my opinion of rich people. We received a lot of donations. I'll add them to my personal savings and send the money to orphanages in different cities. Is she going to donate the money from the safe to the charity? I'm so glad we got to meet each other. I'm glad too, Mom. It just slipped out, and that scared me. That evening, I memorized the code when I watched Mrs. Ryan put the money in the safe. But I didn't know what to do with it. You need to hurry up. The cops are breathing down my neck. I don't want to go to jail. It was the hardest decision of my life. The next day, I stood in front of the safe, but couldn't bring myself to put in the code. Then, Brianna walked into the room. She looked at me and understood everything. Now I remember where I saw you. You're that thief from the mall. I couldn't bear the accusation in her eyes and left. Soon, I met Ethan in town. Mom and Dad should go get the money themselves if they want it. I can't do it. Before I knew it, tears streamed down my face. I closed my eyes and felt Ethan hug me. Things shouldn't be this way. Our way of life is wrong. I'm sick of it too. When I was a kid, I ran away from an orphanage because I was mistreated there and ended up on the streets. Vagabond became the family I never had. But now I've grown up and want to start a new life, free of crime. You agree with me? You should know that your parents planned it all. They pretend to care about your feelings, but they only want money from you. It wasn't an easy decision, but I threw the piece of paper with the code in the trash. Then I went to Mrs. Ryan and told her everything. However, when I confessed, she didn't look surprised at all. I knew the truth from the start. You probably don't remember, but your adoptive parents once stole my purse from my car. I'd seen your mole back then. I tried to find you, but to no avail. Why didn't you say anything? I could have stolen the money. Sweetie, I believed you wouldn't do that. There's something else you both should know. The DNA test came back negative. Brianna and I were shocked. I just wanted you to have a chance at a normal life and decided to take you instead of the daughter I lost. You've become my family, and I want you to stay. At first, I was angry at her for lying, but then I felt grateful. No one had ever treated me with such warmth, not even my adoptive family. I stayed the night at Mrs. Ryan's place. As I was falling asleep, I thought that she had given me hope for a better future in just one night. In the early morning, I was woken up by the sound of a slamming door. I got out of bed, ran to the safe, and found it empty. Ethan! A few moments later, I got a message from him. I need this money to start a new life. I'm sorry. Dang it! He must have picked up the piece of paper with the code from the trash. I quickly changed my clothes and ran after him. But Mrs. Ryan stopped me on my way out of the house. Leave it in the past. Let the police look for him. I can always make more money. I'm sorry, but for me, it's a matter of principle. I will find you, Ethan. I've always been faster than you. Do you think I'm doing the right thing, or should I have listened to Mrs. Ryan?